Hey, good morning. Morning. This is week 8. This is week 8. Oh my gosh, there's only like 4 more weeks. Wow, Erica, your background is fantastic. Is this real?
No. This is like a background, like a virtual.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, it's really cool. All right.
Thanks.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, yeah, I really liked your movie, Totoro. Yeah, that used to be my daughter's favorite film when she was growing up. Even though, yeah, I used to say, I like Spirited Away more, but she always, no, Totoro is better. Totoro is better. Yeah, very nice. I enjoyed it. Yeah, so great. I think there's obviously scope for more more movies to be produced, and yeah, more of you can try and produce your own box office hits, as it were. Well, how about today? I am thinking, I had an idea yesterday. I'm quite eager to try it out. I don't know how it's going to work out, but why don't we take that thing that we created last class, and then add more to it, play with more objects and add more, object methods and things like that. So it'll be very, but by the end of this exercise, hopefully it'll be very clear how, you start a project, you create an object, and then you make modifications to the object, enhance the object, and then you've got your whole thing working. Yeah, that's all. It's very simple, isn't it? At the end of the day, so we can try and do that today. So we can basically we'll go with Yu-Yang's code. No, actually, we can go with either Yu-Yang's code or Erica's code because it's Erica is an extension of you. In fact, I think what we'll do. In fact, why don't we work with Erica's code? Because Erica has the 3 frames that she made for 3. I don't know how many frames you made. The animation looks very cool. Especially the raindrop effect is very nice because when the drop splatters, that was a very nice effect. And I enjoyed that. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we can go with that. And I was thinking, it is correct me if I'm wrong, it is a bit of a pain to create these frames in the code, essentially, isn't it? Because you got to put the quotes, and then and it's got to be in a vector and things like that. So I was thinking, why don't we make this all so easy? Okay, we'll make it very easy to create movies, so that and we'll get an opportunity to introduce a new feature in class that I think it's part of the syllabus. Okay, it is. I think it's part of the state requirement, right? If you Google for the course descriptor, I think it's called CID. CID for CS2A. I think it is CID 112, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, that's published by the California State. You can just go, CID 112. It'll give you the list of all the topics that are supposed to be taught by every college, regardless of where it is, whether it's Ivy League or community colleges. If you have to, this is a first-year course, this has to align with the state standard, and this is a list of topics. Okay, and varying different instructors typically pick and choose because I don't know. I try to teach everything. Okay, I try to teach the whole thing in the list. But from what I gather from my 2B and 2C students, some of these concepts are missing in the 2B and 2C students who enter my 2B and 2C because I make use of those concepts, assuming that they've been learned in 2A. But it turns out, and the students say, well, no, I was never taught that in 2A. I was never taught this in 2A. And a lot of my students in 2A are essentially spending the initial part of the class, the course, in fact, the first 2 weeks, just catching up on 2A concepts that they were supposed to be taught, they didn't learn. And they lose out, and they and they're not able to participate meaningfully in discussions and because other students who already know these concepts, they're up and running and they're talking about cool and interesting things, but these guys are still trying to catch up. So so different instructors maybe are not able to. Maybe it's not their maybe it's because of different ways in which the classes run, because some classes may in fact be maybe all students in a class have other challenges, all doing extra heavy courses and so they're not able to cover, right, for whatever reason. So, but I think I try to make sure that that doesn't happen. By monopolizing your time, really, by saying, other heavy courses can wait. You got to do 2A first and then go to the other courses. Okay, so that's how we managed to cover everything, to the chagrin of other instructors, possibly. So, all right. So why don't we do that today? Well, we'll wait for a few minutes until other people join, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. But in the meanwhile, you guys can feel free to ask me any questions you have about the code that we already developed. And today I'm thinking what we'll do is try and introduce the idea of file IO, right? Because reading and writing from files, it is actually super duper simple in C++, actually in most languages. And but I don't think it's been covered. Well, we haven't covered it so far anyway, but I think it is a useful skill to have, because especially if you're going to go into machine learning and data engineering and all, data engineering especially, right? You're doing data engineering, you got to know how to open a file, because all the data you need is going to come from outside, right? It's file IO is going to be super duper important, but we'll cover some very basic file IO, meaning that we just try and read from the file ASCII from the file, meaning you'll just read text files. Reading from binary files also very similar, but it's but you'll find out it's we don't need to cover it now, because when we read ASCII files, we're going to try and read one line at a time, right? Read a line at a time. You read from a binary file which contains data. You will basically just read bytes at a time, or I want to read a floating point number, I want to read a double precision number. That's all you do, right? And essentially everything else is exactly the same as though you're reading from the console, CN. So that's what we'll do. So I was thinking that what would be really nice is that we can introduce this concept of file IO, mainly just reading from a file. We're not going to write from a file, write into a file, we'll read from a file. Writing is exactly the same, except the other direction. We'll read from a file where the dance or the movies that you're going to create are not going to be in the code anymore, but they'll actually be stored in a file, right? And it'll be easier to create the file, because you can just open up a text editor and just say, done, punch in the keys and adjust spacing and everything, and you're good to go, right? And we'll make some simplifications along the way so that it's easier to create these files. And then our program that we wrote, we can just be I don't know, 10-line or 20-line program that basically says, and we can call it play.exe or play.cpp. And when you compile it, it'll just be called play. And I don't know, we'll come up with a name later, right? And then we'll, when we invoke it, we'll basically say play Erica's dance, right? Or play Yu Yang's dance, or Omar's movie, or things like that, okay? We just say that on the command line, and just one program, and I'll say, play, and then and in fact, you can create a pack, a folder, a zip file of many movies created by Omar. Okay, many movies created by Namrata, and they're all in a folder, right? So you can say, play Namrata slash movie 1, Namrata slash movie 2, right? And it'll play each one depending on the argument you give it. And it's the same program; it'll just play all of these things. I think we can do that. Well, it seems to play very well in my head so far, but I think it's also very simple. Okay, and chances are we'll complete it. And we'll still have a lot of time left over after that to do other things. Well, that's what I said before too. And we always end up going to the end of class. But hopefully we'll have other ideas bubble up, and we can factor those ideas into the code as we go along. And if we have time, we can try and do what Erica wanted, which is to say, add a method to change the color of what you're drawing. Okay, and that'll be nice, so that you can draw an umbrella in red and rain in blue and things like that. Right. So that is my tentative plan. If you guys have any suggestions or ideas for changing it, welcome to say it now, and we can. Right. So we can go ahead with that. Elijah, you good? You good now? You were sick, right, before?
No, my power was out.
Oh, your power is out. Okay. All right. Good. Right. Okay. All right. So Simon and Karthik, you need to switch on your cameras. I don't think. Well, I don't know why other people aren't joining.
Professor, my camera has some problem. It don't work.
All right. Don't worry. Okay. All right. So just you can just stay, like this, and you can talk from time to time. And but I know you kind of pay attention, so that's fine. That's fine. All right. Oh, Erica, it looks like you're adjusting the 7-Eleven sign, right? Okay, with your hand, all right, yeah. Right, okay, cool. That's kind of cool. All right, okay. All right, so how about someone, I think, all right, in order for this to work, we ideally need someone with a Mac or a Unix-like terminal, because I think we found that the ANSI cursor positioning and things like that don't work with Windows 11. Okay, Windows 11 DOS, the Windows 11 command prompt doesn't let you control the and the reason I say that is because when we create this program, we're not going to be running it inside online GDB anymore. We'll run it on the command line. So you go to the Mac terminal and say, PLAY space, Karthik / movie frame, movie one. Okay, and then it'll play that. That's what we're going towards. And so that we can actually create these packs of folders and release it. Who knows, when you have this program running, you can actually create a folder of, let's say Elijah's dances, right? 10 dances in a zip folder, and you can put and say this program called play.exe or play.cpp. When you compile and run it, it'll play any of those dances. All you have to do is invoke them with it, and you can publish that, depending on all the crazy things that are becoming viral these days. Look at all the things that are going viral. They don't even have to be high tech anymore. They just need to be cool, and it's something easy to do and cool. That's all, right? And so this could actually turn out to be viral because a simple program that anybody can compile and run, and then a folder with lots of dances that you can create in a text editor. And you just put it there, and then you say, well, and people will start publishing folders of their own dances. And I have an idea, right? I'll take one of those dances, and we can try, because when I saw the dance that Yu Yang created last class, it looked like a break dance to me. And I think, we can actually modify that. So I have an idea for making my own dance today, right? So we can try and make that a break dance, many step break dance, 4 or 5 step break dance, and I think it'll be cool. And eventually, maybe you can even add some music. Well, I don't know how that will work. Maybe it'll be possible later on. Good. All right. So how about, does anyone have a Mac? Do any of you have a Mac, by the way? Sabrina has a Mac. Great. Okay. Sabrina, do you want to code today?
Sure.
Okay, great, excellent. Because I think it's cool that for people to get a second chance to code, because I think everybody on screen that I see today has had a chance to code, except Omar. Omar, you haven't had a chance, but you don't have a Mac, right? You have a PC. Yeah, you can come back. Maybe code. I think next on Thursday, Ryan wants to code. Ryan, he's working, so he said he can make it on Thursday, and he wants to code. He actually made a reservation for live coding on Thursday. So I don't think so. On Tuesday, Hannah wants to code. She's sick today; she can't code. So you can code next Thursday or sometime after, and then by the time we'll also try and cover. Next Thursday, the next week is week 9. So week 9, if we do stacks in week 9, we can do pointers in week 10. And then we can do some interesting things using linked lists in week 11. Okay, so, and I'd like to have the entire week for linked data structures and pointers, okay, because that is really the crowning glory of CS2A. People who do CS2A all the way up to week 6 or week 7 and say, well, I know C++ and want to drop, they never learned any of C++, because everything you learn up to week 6, you can do in any other language. And it's pretty much the same. So the crowning glory of C++ is pointers, the ability to manipulate memory addresses directly and the contents of memory directly. Like that is real power. And of course, in order to use that, you really need to be solid and know how to use it properly. Because if once you have that real power, if you don't know how to use it, you could basically fry yourself. So that is why I'd like to spend more time on pointers and linked lists, because and again, from my 2B experience, a lot of students, in fact, if you go to the recorded meetings on 2B, I haven't seen all of them, but certainly in some of them, the students are mentioning that, I never covered pointers or linked lists in my CS2A. We stopped with, introduction to objects and methods, and they stopped there. Never did pointers. And but the very first assignment in CS2B is to do with heavy duty pointers, pointers all around you, right? So and so how could that be, right? So I think people need to be really, really solid and comfortable with pointers before they leave CS2A. And we'll make sure that we spend sufficient time on that. Meaning meaning that it's not just, I'm not just going to introduce, oh, this point is how you use it. No, we'll actually create an application, right? We'll create an application, we'll create a problem that uses pointers, and then we'll build some things using pointers and say, well, you know what, here's an interesting problem that uses a list. And how are you going to solve this using a list? Okay, and then in the process of solving the problem, you will be forced to wrangle pointers and say, oh, I'm gonna cut it here or join it there, cut it here, join it there. Make all these connections. And in the process of making these connections is where you'll get total comfort with using pointers. Okay, and like I said, like swimming or any other art, learning what something is and knowing that's what it does is not programming at all, right? Totally not. There's lots of students, like maybe even instructors, I don't know, right? They say, well, this is how you do it, this is how you do it. Answer these questions in the exam and this is how you do it. And no, that is not how you do it, okay? Programming is learned by doing, and you have to do it, because even though you know how to do it, there's a million ways. Everything you do can go wrong, okay? So, and the way you learn something is not by learning how you do it, it is by learning how to not do it, okay? And anything you learn, even life, right? So life, the way to live life happily is to learn how not to live a life unhappily, right? Because lots of people don't know it. Lots of people just do things that are bound to bring them unhappiness. And that's why they're unhappy, right? Well, depending, obviously that is simplifying greatly, but that is true of programming, right? So knowing how to do things one way is not knowing it at all. That's like knowing one way in a million ways. That's 1 over a million. You have 1 over a million. That's 1 to 10 to the minus 6 proportion of how much knowledge we've got, right? So we need to know, right? I know how to do it. Now let me find out how not to do it. And the way to find how not to do it is to try it and have it break right in front of your eyes. So, oh my gosh, I tried it and it crashed. It didn't work. I tried it this way, it didn't crash. And that is a frustrating exercise for many people, but it is important to go through it, okay? It is important to go through these frustrations early in life when you have, early in your career as a programmer, when you have your classmates, your professors, your parents, your colleagues and friends around you to help you out and saying, well, you know what? Go through these frustrations, but don't let me solve the frustration for you, because when you go through the frustration and you figure it out, you won't have that frustration anymore for the rest of your life. And so when you don't have frustrations is when you can do creative work. Because people who say, I'm going to use programming, I'm going to learn programming and do some creative work, they won't have time to do creative work. Even though everybody is intelligent and creative, not many people are creative, producing creative output. And the reason for that is because they got too soon to the place where they need to do creative stuff before mastering the places which will cause them frustration. Because then they're just dealing with frustration. Frustration takes 90% of your mental cycles when you're programming, right? When you're frustrated, you'll never find a bug. And so it takes up a lot of your cycles. So the important thing is to get rid of the frustration, inure yourself, or not even inure yourself, is to make sure that certain places where I go are bound to cause frustration. So I'll not go there. And that way I can just stay here and do creative work. And that is how you can do really, really cool stuff. And part of the way to do creative stuff also is to not do, really keep things simple, right? If you keep things really, really simple, then you can say, well, that is simple, it's going to work, because obviously it's going to work, I can see it's going to work. So now I can focus on this, and that'll give me the creative part of applying that. So that is why the program that we wrote last class was actually a very simple program, isn't it? All it does was take a frame, put it up there, wait for 10 seconds, put the next frame, and just iterate through it. That's all. Very simple. So you can imagine in your head how it's going to work. And we tested it out and it works. Now you can say, well, now that it works and it's simple, now I can focus on the movie. Now I can create my frames, right? Raindrops falling and all that. You can create a nice, beautiful effect like Erica did. Okay. All right. So whenever Sabrina is ready, Sabrina, you can pick up the screen and then click on Erica's code. And then what we'll do is we'll make some changes to Erica's code. Oh, by the way, on a Mac, do you have Xcode, Sabrina? Is this Xcode?
Wait, no, this is VS Code.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. All right. But still, it's a Mac. So when the program compiles in VS Code, do you know where? Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. We just need to know where the compiled program is so we can run it. Okay, great. All right. So I was thinking, now let's go to the top of the screen and clear all of the comments at the top and say class code for February 28th. Yeah, class code for February 28th. 28 and say we will create we'll create a program that will read a sequence of frames from a file and display the frames one after another with a gap of, I don't know, I think it was 50 milliseconds or something. Yeah, and you can break and go to the next line. Oh, how come it's VS Code is not showing you that thin line at 80 columns? You can break the line after display, right? You can go to the next line after display. Yeah. A bunch of regulars are missing, and they said they were sick. Like Charlene was sick, and she said she wasn't able to attend. So, someone should reach out to her. Like when Omar had COVID and all. So someone reach out to her and find out if she's okay. All right. Okay. Great. Let me adjust the font a bit more and also change my glasses. One second. Okay. All right. So that's what we'll do, and yeah, that's better. All right, now that we are here, put a blank line after line 8, by the way. A line after line 8, put a blank line, and also put a blank line after line 6. Actually, no, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You can. It's up to you. You can do it if you want. Now, what we'll do is Screen 2D class. Right. Okay, can we do a few? We're going to do a few renamings, okay? And then. Yeah, let's not call it Screen 2D this time, okay? We'll just call it a frame with a capital F, just to make sure that, it's all very clear that it's a new project and all. It's not Screen 2D. Just call it. No, actually, right click on that word. Right click and say rename. Rename. Can you refactor? Yeah, refactor. No refactor. No, do double click and rename. Doesn't have rename.
Is it this one?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's grayed out. Is it grayed out? No. Okay, rename it. Yeah. Okay. Now call it frame, and it should automatically rename all of the Screen 2Ds in the file. Yeah, rename it to frame.
Hold on.
Yeah, rename and call it frame. Enter. Oh, it didn't do it? Oh, another refactoring is being previewed. Wow.
It's okay.
Yeah, just change it. Okay, all right. Now, you can change that to frame. And then let's see which ones we need. Okay, we need set pixel, clear pixel, right string add, draw bounding box add. Okay, now let's say instead of draw bounding box, let's just say let's just say rename that to show. Just say show, frame.show.
Frame.show.
Yeah. Oh, no, not frame.show. Just say show. Just call it show. Instead of draw bounding box. No. That is called frame. The class is called frame. Yeah. And then draw bounding box, call it show. Yeah. Actually call it show underscore at. Yeah. And then right string at can be right string at. That's fine. Clear. And then you can also say clear frame, right? No, you can say on the next line, you can say clear frame, clear, or just say clear, clear at. We're giving x1, y1 to the parameters, right? So clear at. Okay, great. So all right. Okay. You can get rid of the graphics methods for now. Let's not do that because we can come back to it later on, yeah, if needed, and remove the blank lines, remove all the blank lines. Okay. And in fact, let's also clear out the set pixel color. We can come back to it later. We can put it back if we need. Yeah, okay. So that's all we need. All right. So draw a horizontal line that can. Did we have that? Can delete the method. We don't need the draw horizontal line method. You can delete the whole method. Okay. All right. Now change screen 2D to frame on line 39. No, you can just double click and type frame. That's easier. Oh, it did it. It did this time. It did it. Did you see that?
Yeah, it was change all occurrences.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know why it didn't do it last time. Okay. Width equals width. Height equals height. Also, let's while we're at it, let's change. I was thinking WT sounds too much like weight, and I was thinking if we make it WID, then HT is only 2 letters, and that's 3 letters. Okay, we'll leave it at this for now. Okay, all right. So frame. Oh, all right, 45 is a 45, and then you say, what is it? Move cursor to requested column, right? Oh no, 45 is not that. The name of the method on 45 is not a frame. It got to be yeah, set pixel. That's it. Okay, so all right. Otherwise, let's put a comment on line 49. On line 49, at the end of line 49. Yeah, put a comment saying look up ANSI codes. Look up ANSI codes. Uppercase ANSI. ANSI. Yeah, codes. Now, the reason we put the comment there is because we're doing something that is apparently mystifying on that line, right? Because if someone just picks up this code and reads it, hey, well, what are they doing? Sending an escape character and things like that. What the hell is it going to do? They won't understand. So we just put a comment there saying, hey, you know what? If you're mystified by this line, just look up ANSI codes. That's where we're doing that. All right, that's enough information for a programmer to figure out what the hell is going on. Okay, right now 54. Move cursor right string, and that's good too. That's good too. That's good too. All right, frame show at. That's good too. All right. Now what we want to do is, oh yeah, where's your main? Where's your main? Where's your main? All right. So now here's what we're going to do. Go further down in main. Further down in main. Where Erica actually has a code. Let's go to the place where Erica has a code for me. Right now here, just copy that entire for loop. Cut the for loop. We're not going to be using the for loop there. So you cut it and then cut it and put it in your clipboard. Yeah, Control X or Command X. Yeah. Right. Now go up to the above main. Right. And now we're going to create a new method, and this is going to be called. We'll call it show frame sequence. Okay, show frame sequence at, right? Show frame sequence at. So and then it's let's say void for now. Okay, void show frame sequence at. It's not going to return anything because we don't know what it's going to return, right? Once we find out what it needs to return, then we can go back and change the signature, right? And then yeah, curly braces to complete the body, and then we'll go in and fill in the body. All right. Now, the parameters for this, the first parameter is just going to be a sequence of frames. Okay, it's going to be a sequence of frames, and so I think it can't be can it be yeah, I think we can make it a static method. Okay, we haven't covered static methods, but this will give an opportunity for us to look at static methods. Okay, so here's what we want to do. When we declare it, we'll put it there. Right. So show and then put the qualification frame double colon in front of it. Frame double colon in front of a show frame sequence at. Right now, inside parameters, in the parameters, you're going to say, how about vector, and then within square brackets, within angle brackets, you're going to say frame. Okay, frame, and then close angle brackets, and then outside space ampersand. Frames, lowercase frames. comma, size t x1, size t y1. Okay. Oh, no, we actually changed it here. Yu Yang made that change. We have to keep that. Okay, that's a good change. We should say size t row, right? Size t row. We'll just keep row and column here because that is a good change that we should try and remember. Because x1, y1 and row column interchange, and then we make all these corner case errors. It's better to not make them. Okay, and again, call same number of letters as ROW, so that in the code things will line up when we use these things. In this call, COL, not column. Okay. All right, great. Now here's all we have to do, right? So for size t, now indent in, say for size t, I equals 0. Yeah, thank you. Right, for size t, I equals 0. I is less than frames dot size. Okay, frames dot size. Am I missing anyone on screen? I think not. Yeah, I think everybody's here. Right. So frames dot size. Oh, and then size is a method, so it needs to have open close. And then I plus plus. Yeah. Right. On the next line, all we're going to indent in, and all we're going to do is say oh, you know what? Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, so we'll say oh, but we need a frame to, oh, we need a screen. Well, I think we need a screen to show. In fact, you know what? Because we really don't need a screen object anymore, because there's only one screen. Let's not create a screen object. We have many frames, but only one screen. Okay, so we're going to change some things later. So we're going to say show type in show frame at open parent. Oh, we actually have the code from yeah. Well, we will. All right. Frame at row show frame at. The first parameter is frame square bracket I. Frame square bracket I. No, it's frames. Yeah, frames square bracket I, comma row comma call. Right, and then semicolon at the end. Yeah, and now we'll do one more thing here. You see that on line 86, where you say vector frames, we'll just make that const. Okay, const meaning we're going to pass you the vector of frames, but you can change it. You can look at it and read it and put it on screen, but you can't change it. So that means we're going to change that. Oh, yeah, const. That's all it does. Okay, is everybody clear so far? All right, so const. All right, so it shows the frame. And then after showing, yeah, oh, we need curly braces for the for loop. Curly braces for the for loop. There, thank you very much. Right, okay. On the next line, we're going to do sleep. What is that thing? Erica had that. Yeah, you can paste Erica's code, and then most of the code will go, but we'll need some essential parts. Yeah, paste that code that Erica had. What do we have? Now
is that chrono? Oh.
Yeah, it is that. Yeah, we just need that line, that chrono line, only that chrono line, nothing else.
STD this thread.
Yeah, like 93. Yeah, click now cut 93. Right, and put it there. Yeah, and put it on the put it there. And after that, hang on one more sec. After that, no, actually, you don't need a space and all, because there's only 3 lines in this entire function, right? And after that, let's say we clear. Okay, I think it's clear frame at. Yeah, I think it's called clear frame. I forgot the name of the method. Now you can get rid of Erica's code too. We don't need that anymore. Actually, it was just that one line, right? So and then after that, no, inside the for loop. Essentially, what we're doing is that for loop gets like 10 frames or whatever. It gets a vector of frames. Which is going to read in from a file. We're going to put in a method that says read the frames in from a file. Okay, so it's going to get a vector of frames, and all this for loop does is you got a vector. Take the first frame, put it on screen, sleep for 200 milliseconds. Now go on to the next frame. Right, clear it, and then and do that. That's all it's going to do. Right. So you're going to say on the next line after that. You're going to say on the next line. I think what we call it clear frames, clear frame add. Right? And then you're going to say frame square bracket I, comma row, comma column. Okay, that's all. And now put a semicolon after. That's all, right? Now let's on line 85. Go to line 85. Put hit enter. We'll put a comment there. And then this comment needs to say, yeah, right. So basically loop. Yeah, we'll say in the comments we'll say loop through all the given frames. Loop through all the given frames. And show them in sequence with a 200 millisecond gap between each. That's it. Yeah, that's all it does. That's essentially this function. All right. Okay. Now and then for main, we need those pictures, okay? Because that's what we're going to use Erica's pictures to create our movie, and so we need those pictures, and we'll put that in a text file later. So leave them there for the moment. In fact, you know what we can do is let's create a new file for now, okay? Just cut from line 99, cut from line 99 all the way to the end of the how many frames she got? 3 or 4? All of them, right? Cut them all. Cut them all.
It's 3 frames, and then like I grade one out because I for the first like one that's showing, I threw like a color code in it that like.
Oh, I see. Yeah. All right. Okay, cool. All right. Now click on the file menu and create new file. Click on the file menu and create a new file, and call it text file built in. Yeah. Click on text file. Click on text file. All right. It is a text file, isn't it? Oh, start typing. All right. So now paste what Erica had. Okay, we're going to come back to this and change it later on. We're going to get rid of the vector string and things like that. But for now, we're going to leave it like now. Except save this file. Save this file as didn't get yeah, there you go. Call it Totoro. .txt, right? It's a text file. Now just say totoro.txt. Yeah, save it for now. All right, now let's go back to our code, and we'll need to come back to this and change this later on. Essentially, what we need to do is just get rid of all the codes and things, and it'll be clear when we do it. Okay. All right. Now I want to take a look at the code, right? And now show frame sequence add, and then we have clear. Oh, clear frame add. So let's call it. Let's call. So line 76, change the name to clear frame add, not clear add. And I'm assuming that the other one also was show frame add. What did we say? Show frame add or show add? Oh, show frame add. Okay, great. Okay, show frame add and then clear frame add. Okay, great. All right. Now, can you scroll up a bit more? All right. Now clear frame add. Okay, show add pixmap. All right, and it's given, and so that is good, and it's basically given. Yeah, change the word pixmap to a frame, right? Change the word pixmap to a frame, because we'll just stick to the same terminology all the way. Yeah, frame. Oh, but you need to change the other ones too. Why didn't it refactor this time? In the parameter list? No. Where you were editing before, there's 2 more occurrences. Right, when the parameter list too. Yeah. I think if you do that now, it'll rename all of them. Okay, so frame start size. No. It's not frames. It's just frame, 1 frame. Because show add gets given 1 frame, not frames. Yeah, it's 1 frame. So it's just frame, 1 frame, not plural, it's not plural. It's singular. Oh, you know what? I think I know what's going on, Sabrina. You're not refactoring, right? You're change all occurrences in the document. Now that is a dangerous thing to do in code, because refactoring is a lot more careful, because the compiler will make sure that it makes changes only within the scope. That variable is not changed elsewhere. However, if you do replace everywhere in the document, it'll change things elsewhere too, where you don't intend to change. So don't do that. Refactoring is much better. Okay, so
I have a quick question before you continue.
Hey, Sabrina, yeah, I can hear you. There's echo or something. Can you say again?
Can you hear me now?
No, I think there's a huge echo. Maybe it's from your two devices. You have one of your devices has to be switched to a mute or something. Yeah, it is definitely your iPad or whatever. You have to. You're using a Mac, and then where's your other?
Okay, can you hear me now? Is it better?
From? That's better. That's better. Alright.
So if we use frame singular here, I'm confused why we're not using it right over. Oh, you know what? Never mind. I could have.
Oh yeah, but you know, but in the process of you getting there, I noticed a typo, right? On line 88, it's not capital F, it's frames. It's a parameter. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Wait. Oh, so I guess that goes back to if we're using frames.
Oh, also line 91, there's a typo. It's got to be frame square bracket I, not a square bracket I on its own. Show frame at, and then yeah, there you go. Yeah, frame square bracket I, and then also the next one.
Oh, I think it was deleted before one. But if we're using
Yeah,
frames
yeah, I deleted
here,
because of what you did. Yeah.
if we're using frames plural here, shouldn't we be using frames plural on line 70, or does that stay as the singular frame?
So on line 70, there is no frame square bracket I. It is only one frame. You're just given one frame. There's no square bracket I there.
Oh,
So that method. So I want to make sure everybody's on the same board, same page here. What Sabrina just asked. Make sure that you understand the question that Sabrina asked, and then also the answer to this. Okay. So what Sabrina's asking is, why do we have frames there and frames, not frames here? And what we should only have frame here because this method show frame at. Oh, by the way, it's show frame at, not show at, right? So the method is show frame at. Yeah. So the method show frame at is given one frame. It's not given a sequence of frames. Yes or no? It's not given a vector of frames. So we call it just frame. Whereas that other method is given many frames. It's given a vector of frames. That's why I got the plural there. Does that make sense, Sabrina?
yeah. So I guess you're saying it determines on the parameter.
It depends on the, because we're only working on one parameter. You can call it F, you can just call it F. You don't, I mean, you don't have to, but you can call it anything you want. We're just calling it frame so that it's all intuitive and clear that there's this method, when it's invoked, is going to be given one object and it's a frame. That's all. One object. Whereas that other method is going to be given a vector of frames, many frames. And so we use the word frames there. We use the word frame here because the parameter that's given is just one frame. Does it make sense? Well, if if it's not 100% clear, come back to this question, ask again after we've done a bit more work. Okay, so and then hopefully it'll be clearer then. All right, so for right string at frame of a square, frame square bracket I. Okay, all right, great, excellent. Now, okay, all right, good. Now, go further up now, go further up. So now we say right string add, we need that. We need a method to read in all the frames from a text file, or from a file that's given on the command line, right? So how shall we do this? Is that the only thing we need now? We need that, and then we got it. Yeah. Okay. So I think let's write a method that will read the frames in from a text file. All right. And the way and in order to do that, let's go to our text file now, the .txt file that you created. And then make it look like the frame, make it look like a file that we're going to supply to this method, to this program, right? So go right to the top of this file, get rid of that vector string my picture equals. Yeah, and also, the comment, you can get rid of the comment that the first frame Erica said is not being used. You can get rid of that. Yeah, now you can get rid of that comment can go attempted color. Okay. Oh, I see. Erica set the whole screen to blue or something with that. You set the whole screen to blue with that?
Yeah, the background was blue and like the text was pink, I think. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay. So here's what we'll do for now, right? That's a good change, but we'll not do the change for a color now. So get rid of the initial escape sequence. Let's line it all up. Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. Now we want to get rid of all of the curly brace semicolon, right? So do a global replace. Of all of the curly braces semicolon to nothing, blank. Great. Okay. Now let's also do a global replace. Oh no, and get rid of all the vector string my picture. Get rid of all of those too. Yeah. Yeah, and that one. Okay, and excellent. All right. Now, one more thing. Let's get rid of all the space, single quote. Okay, space, single quote. Get rid of all the space, single quote, and yeah, replace all the space, single quotes with nothing. No, space, single quote. At the beginning of the line. Oh, I'm sorry. Space, double quote. I'm sorry, Sabrina. I meant space, double quote. Yeah, we want to get rid of all of those.
What are those?
At the beginning of the line, right? Yeah,
Oh,
all
okay.
of that. Oh, it's actually 2 tabs, is it? Yeah, you can get rid of all of those. We don't want the double quote either. We want even the double quote should go. And yeah, there you go. Excellent.
Ah.
You're going to do it manually? Does it do it manually like that each time, or there should be a just do a global replace. It'll do it. If you do 2 spaces and a quote, 2 spaces and a quote. Yeah. Did it do it?
Do you want the quotations at the end too gone?
No. Wait, so that's what. So we want the quote at the end to go and the comma to go also. So we want the comma and the quote at the end to go. We should, and then we have to edit it so that we don't mess up the picture, because as we're doing the picture, we want to make sure that the artwork that is created by the artist is not messed up, so that we can look at the text file in a text editor and say, well, yeah, those are the frames. I can look at it and it's all good. So we want to make sure that it's all not messed up. And what are those commas? The commas are the commas part of
No,
hey,
they're at the end.
Right. Hey, Sabrina, can you do Command Z a couple of times? Get it back to the place where you had the. Yeah, there you go. All right. So here's the thing that we want to do. Now, what about the first few lines? The quotes are all gone. Command Z all the way. Let's get back where Erica's. Command Z. One more. Yeah. All right. Good. Right. So here's what we want to do. Okay. Now. Are those spaces or tabs on line 1, right at the beginning?
They're tabs.
They're tabs. Okay. All right. So now put it back. Now, right. Do a Command F. A command. What is it? Go to Edit menu and say search replace. Search replace. Yeah, replace. Right here, you want to say tab open quote double quote. Tab open double quote. Can you do tab there? No. Tab. Hit the tab key. Oh no, it doesn't do a tab there.
Just
how do you replace a tab? Hey, can someone Google find out how to replace a tab in Xcode? Okay, how do you replace a tab in Xcode? Wait. All right, try this in the find place in the find box. Type /t. No, /t. And then a quote and double quote.
I don't think it's getting it. It's only getting it's searching for a slash and it's not.
Oh, all right. We need to get rid of that. All right. Well, unfortunately, maybe you have to do it manually. Can you do it manually? Which is only that. Okay, don't leave the ends alone. End of the lines. We'll do that later. Yeah, we just need to get rid of that, and then we can get rid of all the space quotes. Yeah. Oh, I had an idea, but we don't need to do that. Well, I thought, one easy way we could have done it was basically just select an there's an unindent feature in Xcode. And say, hey, this code just unremove. In VS Code, you can say because Yu Yang did it last class. He put commas and released deleted commas in block. So there's an unindent feature that we could have used, but that's okay. So there's a small picture. So.
So question, now that it's all going to be in, it's not going to be in a string of vectors anymore.
We're going to, so here's why Erica is asking, well, we're putting it in a text file. How is it going to be shown on screen? Where is it going to be in a vector? All right. So we're going to write, we're going to write a method in our frame class that will say, that method is going to get given a file and say, all your frames are in this file, go and read the file. That's all, right? So that when you create this file, when you give this program to your friend or a baby, a kid brother or sister, they don't need to know programming. They just need to know how to open a text file and put dots in places and create a picture of their own. So they don't need to know programming, but they can create a movie. That is a mark of successful products, isn't it? Successful products out there are successful mainly because they appeal to the majority of the human population that don't know how to build a product, but they know how to use the product. Yeah, so like an iPad, right? So how many people know how to build an iPad? But it's so useful. Everybody, even kids, can play games on iPads. So this program, you can write it in that way so that people don't need to know C++ or need to know how to do it, but they need to know how to create a file, and that's easy, right? All right, now you can replace all the double quotes. Before you do that, you're not using any double quotes in your animation, are you, Erica? Yeah, so now you can do a double quote replace. No, before you do replace all the double quotes, are you using commas? Are you using commas inside your picture, Erica? Great. Okay. First replace all the commas. Get rid of all the commas. First get rid of all the commas. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. All right. You could have done that. Are you doing it manually? All right. Now also replace all the double quotes. Oh wait. Why are there spaces in front of the first double quote on line every line? Is there a space in front of it? No. Now replace all the double quotes. Replace all of the double quotes with blanks. Excellent. All right. Now what we'll do is we're going to make this really user friendly. Okay, we'll make it user friendly and say on line number 1. Okay, go to line number 1. Hit enter at the beginning of line 1. Yeah, hit enter. Hit enter. Go up 1 line. And we're going to put a comment there, okay? And here's a cool thing. And in the process of doing this, you'll probably get a feel for how the compiler itself reads your file and sees, oh, there's comments in there and so on, right? We're going to say so comments. So put a comment. We'll say comments are comments. It doesn't actually matter, right? We'll say put a hash point. Yeah, you put a comment. That's fine, right? You say frame space 1. Frame space 1. Yeah, okay. And then triple click the line, and then copy that, and then put it after frame 1. Put it after frame 1 on line 13, I think. Line 13. Put it there. Yeah, put it there. Get rid of the blank line above that. Get rid of the blank line above that. Oh, you can leave the blank line there too. That's fine, right? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we want to do, right? As 3 frames. Yeah. All right. So I think you got 2 blank lines there and 1 blank line here. So just even out. Yeah. Good. All right. Now we got 3 frames in here. All right. So and these are going to be read in. Yeah. All right. I think this is good enough for now. We can come back and make changes later. Save this file. Let's go back to our code. All right, now let's go to the class itself, the class. Now we're going to do a few things, right? We're going to do a few things to this class. Show at, and change line 35 and 36 should be show frame at, clear frame at, show frame at, and then clear frame at. Okay, now here's what we want to do, okay? Yeah, okay, those 3 are methods. Okay, that's fine. Those 3 are methods. And these guys get given us. Okay, right. So go to line 34 and hit enter at the end. One more time. And put a comment there and put a comment. Yeah, saying static methods. Okay, static methods. And then put the word static in front of the bool on 37 and 38. Okay, now this is a subtle concept, and it may not make immediate sense, but it's worth knowing, and probably it is there in the syllabus and may be tested in the final exam. Okay, so make sure you understand. A static method is a method that operates on the class and has the static method also has access to all the private members of the class. Okay, it's just in that sense, it behaves just like a method. However, the static method, any static method, is not attached to a particular object. Okay, the static method is like a static variable. There's only one copy of that method, and it is attached to the class itself. It is attached to the blueprint. So this class called frame is a blueprint, right? It's just used for stamping out many classes. And that class has a weight and a height and things like that. It has properties that are, each object has its own property, right? Each object has its own width, has its own height, and so on. However, the class itself has its own things that are common to all of the objects, like the population, right? So when you do quest number 6, you will see something called a population. And the population is a static variable. The static variable is not attached to each object, but it's attached to the class. So if any of the objects changes the static variable, that change is immediately reflected in all of the objects from that class. That is what a static is. Now, a static method is very similar. Okay, the static method says, I'm a method, but I just belong to this class, but I'm not called on an object of this class. Rather, when I'm called, you need to give me a bunch of objects of this class, or you give me objects and I'll operate on those objects, but I don't have an object already to operate on. That is what it means. It'll make more sense as you work with statics and methods more. But we'll get back to this idea later. Okay, so we have these two static methods. Now I forget if we need to put the static keyword also when you declare the method. I think we do, right? So where you have the declaration, the definition, where you have the definition of those two methods further down, put the word static in front of those two, right? I think you put this word static. It may be that the C++ says you only need static there, but we'll fix that if that's the case. Okay, right. Now let's go back to the top again. And then we want to create one more method, and this method is going to be called another static method. Okay, you're right. Okay, so static, and we'll say this method is going to return. Yeah, let's say this method is going to return a vector of frames, but if it makes a vector and returns it by copy, unnecessary duplication of data. So what we'll do is we'll say read frames from file, and then it'll read the frames and put it there, and it'll create a vector of frames. Okay, I think this is what we'll do: a vector of frames, and each and then and by the way, frame has a weight, width, and a height. And then where's the vector of strings? We had a vector of strings somewhere. Where did we use a vector of strings? I hope I'm not messing up this code beyond recognition so that we get stuck with a problem later on. Yeah, I see const vector string. We say const vector string, show frame sequence at. All right, show frame sequence at. What is show? Right, show frame at. Let's look at show frame at, by the way. One more. Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, there you go. Show frame at. And it, oh, I see. It says write string at. So inside of each of these, there is a vector of strings, and a vector of strings is a frame. I see. A vector of strings is a frame. Where did we have the vector of strings declared before? In Yu Yang's code, where did we have the vector of strings declared? In the class. Yeah, further up, right to the top. We had the vector of strings for further down. Oh, actually, yeah. All right. So, so in fact, what we did before was kind of messy in the sense that we didn't do it in a proper object-oriented, nice way. Okay, we did it in a kind of messy way because the frame also has to have the vector of strings inside of it, which we didn't do. So let's go back to our code. And in the frame class, go to the frame class. Yeah, there under private, hit enter and say vector and then with an angle bracket, say string, and then space, and then you want to say data, just say data, right? And then semicolon, and then say on a comment on the same line, say the data comprising this frame, right? Data comprising this frame. Okay. Now, this means that we need to make a few more changes, I think, further down. Or maybe not, maybe not. I think maybe we're good. Okay, all right. Static, all right, here you go. All right, static on line 40. You want to say static. What should it return? Let's say it returns the number. No, we don't actually, it doesn't. Yeah, I think it needs to return the number. No, I think that's all available. Just say void for now. All right, static void, void, read frames from file, right? Read frames from file, frames from file. Okay, open parentheses. Now, the first thing we want to say, pass, is vector, open parentheses. Open. I'm sorry, Sabrina. Right? I think you probably did the right thing, and I incorrectly corrected you. Yeah. Frame, capital F, capital frame. Open. Yeah. Close. Space. Ampersand. Frames. Comma. Space. String file name. No, string space file name. Yeah. Okay, no, file name is one word, file name or underscore, whatever you like. Yeah. All right, semicolon at the end. Now, this method, we're going to write this method now. And what this method does is when this method is called, you will give it a vector of frames, which is all empty, and you'll also supply it a file name. And what this method is going to do is open the file, read all the lines in it, and put it in all the frames and store it. And then frames, the first parameter is passed by reference. Okay, it's passed by reference, which means that is getting the actual thing. So you don't have to return anything. So it's going to read it and put it in there, and the caller will already have. Well, you'll see when we call it. You'll see how it happens. Okay. All right. So great. Read frames from file, and then qualify it with frame double colon. Read frames from file. Frame double colon. Read frames from file. Okay. All right. Now let's go into the method and start fleshing it out. And also put a blank line after 50 so that it's separated out from the next one. All right. So now let's say. We want to say indent in, and and also you need a parameter list. Put the parameter list. You can copy from line 40 and put it there. Yeah. Space ampersand frames. Yeah. String space file name. Great. Okay. All right. Now so here you're going to say if stream. Okay. if stream. Space ifs open parentheses what do we call it? File name, file underscore name, and then put a semicolon at the end. All right, so this magic statement automatically, this is really cool, isn't it? Okay, and this statement there automatically sets up ifs to be exactly the same as cn. From now on, you can imagine that you can treat IFS the same way as you treat CN, except that what you get from there is not coming from the keyboard, it's coming from the file. That's all. You don't have to worry about anything else after that. You just read from IFS just as though you're reading from CN, but it's going to come from the file. So, all right. So on the next line, one more blank line after that. One more. And here, put a comment saying read lines from the file and stuff it into our frame, into a frame, into the frame. Okay, into the corresponding frame, and on the next line, you can say successive frames are separated by lines shorter than, let's say, 10 characters. Okay, so meaning that we will disallow creating movies that are less than 10 pixels wide. And the reason we do that is because it gives us an easy way to insert comments in our frames, right? If you have a text file with frames, you can just say, you know, what Sabrina did there, saying / space frame 1, frame 2, and frame 3 and all. We want to prevent those things from also being interpreted as part of the frame itself. So we say that by saying, well, you know, all our frames has got to be at least 80 characters or something like that. In this case, we're saying at least 10 characters. Anything less than 10 characters, we'll just ignore. That means that in our text file, we can put stuff in there that the thing will ignore, and that can be informative to humans. So that's what we're doing there. Okay, so all right, so separated by lines shorter than 10 characters, which are ignored. Yeah, chars, plural. Okay, all right. So on the next line, here you're going to say, let's see. All right. So we'll say, what is it? A vector of frames. Okay. All right. So let's say frame square bracket. No, it's a frame. Hang on. Give me 1 sec. Okay. So we want to go through the thing and we stuff it in a frame, and every time we get to a comment, we're going to take the current frame and stick it and, you know, push it into our vector. So what is the best way to do it? We'll make a frame and push it in, and then we can optimize it later. I think that's much better. Okay, so vector of frames. Right, so you say yeah, all right. So you say while true, right? You say while true. We'll use an infinite loop here for now. Right, while true, and then create a body for that, and then yeah, all right. So in here you're going to say frame space frame one single no uppercase frame uppercase. This is a class. We want a frame. Okay, frame space f. Or you know, say it's a space lowercase frame space lowercase frame. And then something that do we need to give it a in our declaration for a frame? Do we need to give it size? Oh, we do have to give it a width and a height. In fact, you know what we'll do is we'll give default parameters. Oh no, we'll have another constructor for frame which doesn't take any parameters. Okay, we'll have to do that later. Right? No, yeah. All right. So and inside, yeah, I hit enter. And then what we want to do here is while we want, yeah, get line. So after frame, you also say string space line. Okay, just call it line for now. Semicolon enter. Yeah. Yeah, and here you're going to say while get line, open parentheses, ifs, comma line. No, ifs comma line, and space double ampersand, space double ampersand, and line dot length is greater than 5. Line dot length is greater than, I think it was 10. Line dot length is greater than 10. Right? 10. In fact, we can make it better than that. We can say line dot length is greater than min underscore length, all uppercase, right? Min length, all uppercase. Min length. Yeah, and then after if stream on line 49, hit enter, and then we'll declare that too. Const size t min length equals 10. And then on the comment on line 53, also you can change 10 to min length. Yeah. Oh, you want to do that way? I was thinking we'll just change the 10 to min length, but that's fine. Right? Okay. In that case, you need to make min length all uppercase and make that. Okay, great. So, all right. So as we get the line, what we need to do is while. So after the while statement, hit enter after the while statement. No, the inner while. Enter. What we want to do is say indent in, and say frame, lowercase frame dot append, and then give it that line as a parameter. Right now, we need to come back to this, but we need that append method, which we'll do later. Okay, right. So we've taken the line, appended it to the frame, but after, right. Okay, great. So this loop, this inner loop, will keep reading lines, and any line that is greater than 10, it'll append to the end of the of our frames. Our frames is going to grow, and when we hit a line that is 10 characters, it's going to exit the while loop, right? So now hit enter. Now back. Now it's out of the while loop, out of the inner while loop. No, in the outer while loop, but in the out of the inner while loop. Right? So we're actually doing some pretty involved code manipulation here, because nested loops and these things, these are actually, I think it is like super duper useful. Okay, and I'm glad it's all being recorded so you can watch it multiple times. And hopefully not repeat any mistakes that I'm making. When I'm Sabrina and I are coding, I might say things that are wrong and go and correct it. But still, you'll know if you follow the video all the way to the end, you'll say, hey, you know what? Anand said that so we made that change, but it was actually wrong because later on we corrected it. Okay, and I think it's useful. So now after one more enter, and then put a comment there. Saying at this point frame contains the lines that make it up, okay? So we need to stuff it inside the frames vector that's given to us. So on the next line, all you're going to do is say frames dot push back, push underscore back. Yeah, and then you're going to say frame, a passive frame. Okay, that's it. Right now, this is a simple piece of code. All it does is that it is going to read. It is going to open the file. Make sure you are with me every step of the way, right? And it's very simple, isn't it? On line 49, we open the file and get a file handle. Now that file handle is the same as CN. You can read from it just like you're reading from CN. Right? And so now after that, what we do is we have a while loop, and in the while loop, we create a frame by reading lines from that file, and every line we read, we put inside that frame, right? So this is a frame that we're creating on line 54. We're creating a brand new frame, right? And we're reading lines, putting it into the frame until such time as we hit one of those magic lines, which has less than 10 characters. That means that frame has ended. Yeah. So, and when we know that frame has ended, we take that entire frame and push it into a list of frames, that vector of frames that's given. And we keep doing that. And when we do that, we say, at the end, we'd say, well, we read the file and had 3 frames in it. That's all. Okay. Now we're going to put a debug statement at the very end on line 63. On line 63, hit enter. Right? No, line 63. Get rid of that. Yeah, go. Yeah, enter. Now we're going to say C out. Left shift, and we say within quotes you say red READ, red, uppercase R, red, red space, and then outside of the quotes say left shift again, frames dot size, okay, frames dot size, open close. No, after that open close. Yeah, and then open double quote again after the left shift. No, after the left shift, open double quote again. Yeah, space, frames, space from, space, and then outside of the double quote, left shift, name of the file. What do we call it? File name, and then endl after that. Okay, that's just a debug statement. And once everything is done, you can essentially comment it out or delete it. It's up to you, right? So, all right, so that'll do it. Now with frame.append, we have to implement the frame.append method. So let's, I want to go to the top of the file again, and let's look at, and we'll insert the, right, frame.append, right? So frame dot, yeah, there you go. Line 33, line 34, right, string add. Okay, right, let's hit a line on line. Oh, yeah, all right, yeah, there you go. Yeah, hit enter there, and say bool. No, say bool. Let's say bool for now, right? What are we appending, by the way? We're appending a string. All right, no, it's just be void. Okay, just make it void for now. Void. Append. We called it append, I think. Yeah, it's right there. Append, and then open parentheses, and here you're going to say string line, string space line. Okay, now the body of this function can potentially be defined right here. Okay, we can define the body of the function inline. This is called an inline definition, and well, let's not bother with it. It'll just confuse you, right? So let's do the it out of line. Okay, so above the on line 48, yeah, hit enter and say void frame : append, and we'll define it there. Yeah, string line. Yes, and then curly brace, and then a new line, a blank line. Yeah, right. So here, all we need to do is to say data dot pushback line. That's all. Data dot pushback line. Yeah, and then close the quote, and then a semicolon. And we can, I think we can put a comment. That's all, actually, that's all there is. You know, that's all there is. But let's put a comment on that line. Says push a single line, pushes a single line. Yeah, pushes a single line onto the end of the current frame. That's all. Okay, so it does that. And then when you write the frame, read frames from file, that's good. All right. Excellent. Now let's go to the further down where you display the frames, right? So where do you where is the place where we got the even further down? No, I think it's at the very end where you had the main. Oh yeah, there you go. Frame show frame sequence. Frame sequence. And it's a vector of frames. Okay, I know. I think that's all. Oh, by the way, you got a typo. It's not size. Sizes. You got size on line 116. On line 116. Right. So it reads a. It's given a vector of frames, and that it reads. Well, now what builds the vector of frames? Oh, it did. Yeah. And then our method, the read frames returns a vector of frames, doesn't it? Read frames returns a vector of frames. Or basically, it's given a vector of frames that will stuff. Yeah, I think. Excellent. Yeah. It's given a vector of frames that it is going to stuff. That is good. All right, that's all good. And show frame sequence. We'll take that and display it. Yeah, that's. Is there anything else that is left to display and implement before we give it a shot? Wait a sec. I'm trying to think of what else we need to do before we give it to try and compile and run it. Wait a sec. You can also try and look at it. Okay, I shouldn't be the only one trying to look at it and figure out what's going on. So please look at the code and see if there's anything else that we need to do. Right. So main. And by the way, main is all going to change. Okay, main is going to change. We can, well, why don't we write the main and then we can go back and look at the code one more time. Okay, so go to our main now, go to our main and then clear out all of that. Right now on the next line, let's say, frame, uppercase frame, space, my frames, right? My frames, plural. Semicolon there. And now what we want to do is one more blank line. Now you can say frame, uppercase frame, double colon, and what we read frames from file. And oh, I see, we give it a vector of frames. So we just need to, on line 125, call it vector of, on line 125, it's not frame, it's vector of frames. It's a vector of frames. Yeah, and you can get rid of, no, vector. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to, I'm messing up, okay? It's not you, Sabrina, okay? It's chart with vector, angle bracket, frame. You got the word frame in the front, right? And you can get rid of the word frame right at the beginning. And then in the frame inside should be uppercase F. Okay, and now, and at the end, instead of the semicolon, you say space and say my frames. Okay, excellent, semicolon. Now, the first parameter is a vector of frames, isn't it? That method, read from files, the first parameter is a vector of frames, isn't it? So we're going to pass the vector of frames. No, we just pass my frames because my frames is our vector of frames. Excellent, yeah. And then comma, name of the file. What did we call that file? What Totoro.txt. Later on, I'll show you how you can. You don't have to hard code Totoro, right? Totoro can be given on the command line. within quotes. Totoro.txt is within quotes. And I think that's basically it, because we don't have multiple. We don't have those are the only two parameters, right? For what are the parameters for read frames from file? There's only two parameters. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so now we call that function, that method, and what that's going to do is going to read Totoro.txt, get all the frames, and put it inside my frames. That's all this is going to do. Now that we've got it, all we need to do is on the next line, you can basically say show frame sequence at, right? Show frame sequence at, open parentheses, and you can say, I don't know, 2, maybe. Was it row, column? I say frames, show frame sequence at. Yeah, I say my frames. The first parameter is my frames. First parameter is my frames, comma, and then we'll just show it at 2, 2, right? We'll just show it at 2, 2. So we'll basically go to 2, 2 and show all the frames one after another. And that's all, right? So that's our main. The one change we have to do though is the constructor, right? Go all the way to the top where you have the constructor. Right? Now the constructor takes 2 parameters and it's mandatory parameters, right? These 2 parameters have to be given, but we are setting it up so that we don't hard code the width and height of the frame. The width and height are going to be determined by what is in that file. Some lines might be long and so on. So what we'll do essentially is say the width and height are not coded in the frame anymore. So you can get rid of width and height, right? We can get rid of the width and height parameters. Yeah, actually, we can get rid of that altogether. Get rid of that. And even on line 30 also get rid of width and height. And then we'll get rid of the checks also. We'll get rid of the checks in set pixel. Yeah. Oh, and get rid of the comment. CTR takes screen size as parameters. Get rid of the comment. We don't need that anymore. And in fact, here is an even cooler thing. Okay, put a comment in front of that line 30 statement, right? So that frame, that constructor can be commented out because the constructor doesn't do anything now. Does a constructor do anything? Yeah, the constructor doesn't do anything. We don't need a constructor. The compiler will give you a freebie constructor in that case. So we can get rid of the constructor. Line 43 to 46 can just be deleted. Yeah, and read frames. That's good. And where do you have set pixel at? Go to set pixel at. Yeah. All right. No, we don't have width and height anymore, right? So we're not going to do those checks. We're not going to do those checks anymore. We'll just say, if the pixel is not on screen, you won't see it. That's all, right? We'll just make sure that, so get rid of that. And then it doesn't have to be bool anymore. It can be void, right? So the method can be void. All right. Same thing with clear. Yeah, thank you. That's Sabrina, she's got remembering things that I'm forgetting. Okay, that's great. That's how coders do it, right? Because they do it, they'll remember and go ahead and fix things. Right. Okay. And you can make the clear also void. And what does write string add do? Yeah, even write string add, and that can also and clear. Yeah. In fact, they're all void now. Yeah, where's that? Set pixel is void. That one also can be void. That can, that one also can be void. That one you had.
The clear frame at?
Yeah, that's void. And then show frame at can be void. Everything can be void.
Even this
Write string at can be void. Yeah. And you can make it void in all the definitions too. And then you have to get rid of 75. No, you have to get rid of 75 and 76 because you don't need that anymore. You can get rid of the blank line also. Yeah, right. So, all right, good. And you can get rid of the comment to do check to make sure rectangle will be contained on screen. Simplifying the code enormously here. Okay, good. And then this suffix add. Okay, I believe that is it. And we should be in a position to actually compile and run it and see the first movie, Totoro.txt, right? You can also create a credit screen at the end, director, Erica, right? So that's really cool. All right, so strfi, where is it? Go to that place, go to the place where it says line 22. Where's line 22? No, where is the error? Oh, get rid of those draw vertical line and all those things. That can all go, right? Yeah, the comment for line 15 to line 15 all the way to line 23. You will just shorten the file also considerably, right? Okay, great. Now where is that error? Where is that error? You had str somewhere. Where do you have str? Must be in right string.
It's not for this code.
No, that's from a different one.
Oh, it's from a different one?
Yeah. That's from before. Hold on. It should start here now.
Okay. All right. Can you compile this code? We'll see if it compiles. Oh, and it has G++, which means we can actually do it by hand also. Great. Undefined symbols. Oh, we don't have main. It says you don't have main. Wait, but I thought we created a main. Go to your main again at the bottom of this file. Yeah, there is your main. I can see it. Why can't? I think your project setup is probably a little messed up. Let's create a brand new project and just copy over only this, okay? So what we'll do here, save this file first. Yeah, have you saved it?
Yes.
All right, now create a file, new project. No, not new file, new project.
Where's that?
How do you create a new project in VS Code? Hey, where's Yu Yang? Yu Yang, you use VS Code too, right? How do you create a brand new project here? I think it's just maybe.
Yeah, I don't think you need one.
But then if you compile it, it's compiling with other files in other projects. Let's compile it by hand, okay? We'll compile it by hand. What is this file called? Do cd to cd space. You see that line saying you see /user/Sabrina desktop C++ class nodes. You just need to go into that directory. Yeah, cd in that directory. Yeah, that directory. Are you in that directory? Oh, you are there already in that directory.
Yeah.
Do as a type ls space -l. I want to say this looks like Linux. ls space -l. This looks like a Unix environment, so I want to see if it works. Enter. Huh. Well, all right. This is what. Oh, it's a Mac. Yeah, I keep forgetting. Right. I thought you were on Windows. Okay, great. All right. So we can actually compile it by hand. Where's the code, class code Feb 28? Oh, you got all of it here. That's why. All right. So let's do this. Okay. So type G++. This is what Xcode or VS Code is doing in the background. Okay. We're doing by hand what VS Code is doing in the background. That's all. So VS Code just gives you a, eye candy to make sure that, right, space, -O, and this is the output file name. And we'll call the output file just play, right? Say PLAY, space, and say space, class code Feb 28.cpp. Yeah, you can hit tab, it'll autocomplete. Yeah, .cpp, all right? Yeah, hit enter. All right, so these are real errors, right? In our code. So let's look at the first error here. Okay, in class initialization of non-static data member. It doesn't do that. Right, make that a static. Okay, so go to the top. Yeah, you just make it a static. Okay, so in front of that, insert the word static, saying that there's only one escape and it's common to all classes. Okay, all objects of that class have only one escape character. It's static. That's what we're saying. That. Yeah. Okay. Good. Now, all right. Let's look at one more error also. Right. Oh yeah. Right at the top, we need to include IF stream. Right at the top, #include. After, not there. We'll put the system includes first. I see. After vector, after IO stream, hit enter after line 5. There you go. IF stream, #include IF stream. Right. Now compile again. Go to the terminal and hit up arrow. Go to the terminal and hit up arrow. Up arrow. Yeah. All right. Hit enter. Okay. This time you have one warning and no. IF stream file not found. Oh, it's just F stream. I'm so sorry. It's just F stream, not IF stream. Right. Okay. Oh, wow. You got a lot of errors this time. Let's take a look. Oh, length is a method. Line.length, open close. Line.length, open close. Simple. It looks like they're all very simple errors, so we should be done. And then those methods that previously returned bool, they're still returning true at the end, so they shouldn't return anything. Just get rid of that line. Triple click and delete. Triple click, delete that line. Right, and further down. Yeah, triple click, delete. One more. Yeah. Then. Excellent. Yeah. Okay. Try compiling now. Up arrow, enter. Right, let's take a look more. I see. Okay, so that's what I thought before. Just get rid of the word static in front of the function definitions, right? Just get rid of the word static there. We already, so what the compiler is saying is that, see, that is one part of C++ that I don't know, maybe they can improve it. What that error says is that the word static can only be used there because now you mentioned that it's static over there. You don't have to tell me again. Right, but that's harmless. I already told you it's static. I'm telling you it's static again. So that shouldn't be an error. So I don't know why it's flagging it as an error. It's just a warning. So get rid of that. And right, out of line definition. Right, now what is the other one? Undeclared use of identifier. What? No. Where is that undeclared use of identifier? Oh, dot size. You got a dot size on its own. Where is the dot size on its own? Line 79.
Oh, this should be framed.
Yeah. So that should be. Oh, you're actually missing the name of the parameter itself. How did that happen? On line 78. Well, you know what happened, Sabrina? I think when you did that global find replace in the file, it just deleted all the. Right. Okay. Clear frame and. Oh no, it's no. That should be data.size. Data.size. Okay, data.size. No, again, data square bracket I. On line 80, line 80. No, that is data.size. On line 80 should be data square bracket I, data square bracket I. Yeah, so these are the perils. These are the perils of global find replace. Okay, in a program, when you do global find replace, it may change things all over the place, and then when you compile it, you come up with lots and lots of errors, and you don't even know how those errors happen because you don't, because when you're coding, yeah, no error here, obviously, and so on. But then you compile it, you see, oh, there's lots of errors there, and that's because we did a global replace, and that went and did stuff that crazy things. Yeah, data. No, that's not data. That's not data. Hang on. Oh, one sec, okay. That is data. I'm sorry. Okay, that is data. That's data. What else? What else?
What is this J? This
Oh,
data-
J. Yeah. So what that says is that data. Yeah, just stay with me. Anything that is, even if you're slightly off by an inch, let me know. Okay. What that says is that data is essentially a vector of strings. Yes or no? Our data is a vector of strings. If you go all the way to the top in our class, we say we have a member called data, and our data is a vector of strings. Yes?
Oh, so that's J.
Yeah?
Yes.
So what we say there is go to the ith string, because it has many strings. Go to the ith string, and then the jth character in that string. That's all. Does that make sense now?
Yes.
Data square bracket I is the ith string, and J on that is the jth character of that. Okay, right. So what else? What else? Do we have any more errors?
Yes, this one here, it should be, this one says,
Oh, yeah. Oh, gee, hang on. Set pixel at. Yeah, okay. All right. So we're going to make that set pixel at also a static method. Okay. So go to the class definition, and then say, make that also a static method. That is static. And then the void clear is also static. Clear is also static. And then next one also is static. Yeah, and void only, no, void is not static. Okay, I mean, append is not static. Okay, append is the only non-static method, and because it's the only non-static method, separated by a blank line. Okay, we'll come up with a better organization later, or you can organize this code better later. Okay, so all right, now let's take a look at
and then 88 right here. Says
what
88.
else. Just compile it. Oh yeah, all right, frames.
Or no, it should be actually this one, 89 now.
I see. Compile it now. Hit Control L. Hit Control L. Not there. In your console. Yeah. In the terminal. Hit Control L. Control L. Great. Okay. Now up arrow and enter. Okay. Now let's take a look at the error. The first one. Well, let's go to the first error. All right. I know. No. I think none of that.
It's this one.
You scroll too much. No. It's further down. Is that the one? Yeah.
That's what
Okay. So go to that error. The first error you got. Here. Oh, stop. Right string at. Call to non-static member without a function. Oh, right string at should be static. I thought right string at also was made static. Why didn't we?
Let me try again. Let me just save it. Maybe it didn't use it.
Control L and Control L. Here's something you can do. Hey, Sabrina, hit enter 5 or 6 times in the terminal. Hit enter 5 or 6 times in the terminal. Lots. Okay. Now up arrow and compile. Okay. Now if you go up, you can first. Yeah. All right. Good. All right. Line 80. Clear frame at vector. Oh, it's there you go. Vector. Yeah, it's missing that parameter there again. So that should be data. That should be no. Well, let's just call it F. Right. So on line 79, after the ampersand. See, it's missing the name of the parameter. Call it frame. Just call it frame. Yeah, and then line 80 should be frame.size. And then that should also be, yeah. That should also be frame. That's nice. And then on line 82. And I think you probably have the same kind of error for draw frame at, right? Show frame at, and right above that. Oh, you have that. That's good. And why is the order of the parameters? Write string at, what is the order? Do you give column, row, and then the string, or do you give it? Which order do you give the parameters in?
Column, row, string.
Column, row, string. Okay. At some point, you got to.
Yeah.
Everything is column, row, and then the string at the end. Okay. All right. So
there's another error on line 89 too.
what is line 89?
It's missing the and, like right after the and, there's nothing.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Oh yeah. That is also missing. Show frame sequence. Frames. Yeah. How come that went? Because I thought, when Sabrina replaced the frame, I thought she replaced a singular frame, not frames. And so,
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
yeah, all right, never mind. So save this.
It says use of undeclared identifier on line 102.
Oh, on line 102. What is the error again? So, on show frame sequence at. What did we call it? Show frame sequence
Yeah.
at.
Show frames at or
Further up.
something. I don't know if it's sequence.
No, there it is. It's right there, up there, right above. What is it? Above that, below.
Hello.
No, further. It was right above main.
Oh, right here. Show frame sequence at.
Show frame sequence at. And then you're calling. So, it's a frame : show frame sequence at, because it belongs to the class. Frame : Yeah, run it now. Yeah, lots of enter keys, and then compile and run. Okay, let's take a look now. Out of line, does not match any. Okay, show frames. All right, size T, and it's void. Now, where's the declaration? Where's the declaration in the class definition? In the class definition, show frame sequence at.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't even have it. Yeah, okay. We just need to put it back. We put it there. So go to the place where you have it. Triple click on the line. Go to the place where you have it. The definition. Triple click on the Copy that and go to the top. And then let's put it after show frame at. After show frame at. Hit enter, and then get rid of that. Yeah, thank you. And then put a semicolon at the end.
This is a static one.
Static. Static. Is that what is that how we're calling it also? For where we're calling it, do we call it like a static method? So let's go to the place where you call it, show frame sequence at.
Well, we got rid of the statics, so I don't remember.
Oh, I see. You got to put frame : in front of it too. Frame : No, where you call it. Where you call it at the bottom. Yeah, you need to put that in front of. And then clear frame at is also static. Show frame at, they're all static, right? So put a frame : in front of all of those guys.
Right.
Up, yeah, there you go. Yeah, there. And then also the one above that, show frame at, should also be static. What else? Do we have any more further up? Set pixel at. Set pixel at is, yeah, there you go. Line 84. Write string add is static. Yeah. What else?
So for all the static ones, we need to add the class.
Yes. And the reason we do that is because when you call a method on an object, the object is there, right? And the compiler knows, where the method is. It has to be part of the object and part of the class. However, when you call a static method, it is not called on an object. It's just called. A static method is not stuck to an object. So you just call the object. So that's why you need to say, when you call a static method, you got to say the static method, which belongs to this class, I want to call that method, this belongs to the class, but I'm not calling it an object. So that's why you don't know. So that's why you just say, when you call a static method, static variables, static methods, you put the double colon in front of it. Qualified. It's called the qualification, right? So now, yeah, hit a bunch of enters and yeah, compile and run. Right. So it says only 2 errors. It only says 2 errors, right? So wait, it says only 2 errors.
Where do you see that?
It says
Oh,
two.
here,
Well, let's go to the first one. Let's go to the first one. All right. So what does it say? No viable conversion from const. Okay. So show frame at is being passed a frame, a row, and a column. And what is the definition of show frames at? What is the definition of show frames at?
string. Oh.
Vector of string.
X1, Y1. Shouldn't
Yeah,
they
that.
be shouldn't they be changed to row and column, or should they still be X1, Y1?
Yeah. Why don't we do that? Change that to row and column just to make sure.
And then this one too.
Yeah, those two also. Those. Oh, by the way, yeah. No. X1 is column and Y1 is row. I think we may have messed up things considerably now.
X1 is
Column and row. X is a column and Y is a row.
Oh.
Now, you know what? We actually messed up things considerably because some places we have row column, some places we have column row. Here, why don't we just do a once over, change everything to row column, right? Row column first, row column. We're going to change all the orders, okay? Row column, and then we'll make sure the code follows that. And also one more thing, one more thing, okay? The parameter const vector string at, make that the last parameter. Let's always make row column the first 2 parameters, yeah? Row column is always the first 2 parameters, and then it's either the string or that thing. You can cut the const vector string. Yeah, you can cut that. Yeah, cut the whole thing. Put it at the end. Yeah, space there, and then also give it a name, right? You can give it a name there. Frame, call it frame there. After the ampersand, say frame. Okay, good, right? So next one also, we can copy that and put it at the end. Yeah, and then there's a space there. Okay, good. And then last one also, yeah, and those two also. I say frame there too. You put the name of the variable. It doesn't actually matter for the compiler because the compiler for declaration only needs to know the type, but we do that for readability. Okay, and that one also. Line 34.
Oh.
Okay, now let's go through the functions and make sure that that is what we have. In fact, you can reduce the size of the console so we get to see more of the code. Okay, great. Okay, now read frames from file. No, read frames. No, the first one. Read frame. Yeah. Now that also is the other way around, right? Yeah. There you go. Yeah. All right. Now set pixel at. Set pixel at. I think we're passing it row and column. The char C is the first parameter. Char C is the first parameter. No. Row column, and first parameter. Yeah. Row and column need to be interchanged. Row column char C. Is that right?
We didn't change this one.
Which one?
We didn't change it.
Oh yeah. We do. Set pixel at. That should also be a row column. Make them all row column. I think row column is better for reading purposes than call row. Row column. And the other ones are right too? Below that? Yeah, those good. Roll call. Okay. Now, that is good. Read frames is good. Get a line frame dot append, and that'll just push back on data. Set pixel at row column. One sec. So it goes to the column row and then H, good, right? Right string add. Okay, goes there and then prints a string. Show frame add. Yeah, right string add should be row comma call plus I. Row comma call plus I. Is it? Yeah, I think so. Row comma call plus I. And then clear frame add. Thank you, Sabrina. Right. Very nice. Very nice. You got a space before the size T also on line 90. Is that it? That's all. Oh, I see this.
Okay.
Is that it? That's it, right? Okay, compile and run it now. We'll see. Save it. I don't think you saved it. Did you save it? You can hit Command S, by the way. It's a lot faster, and you can get into the habit of doing it subconsciously. 4 errors generated, but let's see.
Oh.
Okay.
And 94.
94. What is it? Row comma clear frame at frame square bracket I. Let's go to clear frame at the definition of clear frame at. I see. Okay, good. Very good. Okay, so here's what we want to do. That third parameter, no, in the declaration, right? Third parameter, instead of calling it const vector string and all, just change that to const frame ampersand frame, right? Frame ampersand frame, uppercase frame, const space. Yeah, and next one also, right? Hang on. Do you have vector string anywhere else? And show frame at, yeah, that one also should be frame. And then we need to make changes to those two methods in the method where you say show frame at, yeah, that should be frame. Now, now here you want to say on line 76, on line 75, on line 75, you want to say frame dot data, frame dot data dot size. Okay, so what that says is that this frame contains something called data, which is a vector of strings. I want the size of that vector of strings. So frame dot data dot size. You're going from the frame to the data it contains and getting the size of that data. That's what it, yeah, is that clear?
Yeah.
Right. Well, if any of this is not clear after at the end, I'm hoping that we'll complete it and have it run and everything. After that, if any of this is not clear, ask away, even next class. If you can say, well, that program we got running let's take a closer look at it. I have more questions. In fact, you will have questions later on today. When you take this program, try and create your own movies, but at the same time, also look at the program and try to understand it. You may have a lot of questions. Note down all those questions and bring those questions to class on Thursday, and we'll look at those questions too, right? Because it's very important that you understand everything that we've done here. We've done a lot of new things in this class. So that's why it's important. Okay, so let's try and, is that it? That's all, right? So let's try and compile, save it and compile it. Command S.
Oh wait, what about this one here?
Which one?
Do we need to change this to data?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes, frame.data.size. Oh, and also, no, also on line 82, frame. Oh, no, wait a sec. Oh, wait a sec. No, that's all correct. I'm sorry. That's all correct. Run it. Yeah. Let's take a look. For the first error. Right string add. Oh, yeah. For a frame dot data square bracket I. Frame dot frame. You got given a frame, a lowercase frame. After the frame, say dot data. Yeah, all right. And then we'll probably the next one also there. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Dot data. And then on line 83. Oh, no, wait a sec. One sec, okay. I just want to look at that for a second. Frame of I. No, that's yeah, again, I think that is also frame data of I of j. Yeah, frame dot data. Okay, do we have any more of those guys? No, I think that's all there is, probably. Let's compile and run it now and see if it.
Well, this one on 102 says.
Oh, is this an error?
Yeah, no viable.
Where is?
From vector frame.
All right, let me look at the error again. Line 102. No viable conversion from vector frame to string. Oh, it's the it says it's just out of order. Yeah, the file name goes first and then my frame goes next, I think. Is that the order in which we declared them? I think so.
Yeah.
All right. So and then yeah, you need to clean up that line. Yeah, you got a comma at the end. And then the next one also needs to be swapped. Yeah, the 2, 2 needs to go. Yeah, comma, my frames. Okay, compile and run it. I hope it is not 10 o'clock. Okay. Bummer, it is 10 o'clock. I was thinking it was a 9 o'clock. I heard the clock bell. Right. We compiled it, but in fact, you can. So now you can actually, if you run it now, you can run it by just saying /play.
/play.
Yeah. Nothing is happening. Okay. All right. Okay. Great. Okay. Anyway, homework for you guys. All right. So we will absolutely fix it. Okay. On Thursday we'll fix it and we'll have it running. We'll probably fix it even before then. If one of you can fix it and share the fixed code on the subreddit, that is fantastic. If nobody does that, we will fix it together. I'll fix it, obviously, right? Sabrina, when you post the link, right? Post the link to this code on Reddit. That way I'll be able to click on it and look at it closely with my glasses and all. So I'll fix the code, but I won't fix it right here. Okay, I'll just look at it and see what the errors are.
Can you post a link if it's under the VS Code?
Oh, I see. You know what you can do is
attach it as a CPP file, right? Does that work for everybody?
The better thing you can do, really, Sabrina, is to share, copy that entire code, put it on online GDB. You don't have to compile it in online GDB. Copy that code. Yeah, put it in online GDB. Yeah, you can Command A and paste. Command A and paste. Oh, you have to fork it. Yeah, now you can Command A and paste. Yeah, hit Command A.
Okay. Did that.
Paste, paste. All right. Now, this has been all right. Now, in fact, you can even run it in online GDB by creating the file. Now, also create one more file right here. Right. I think no. Before you share it, it's possible to create one more file here in this project. Yeah, there you go. New file, and call it totoro.txt, and paste the other one there too. Great. Okay. Now save it. Now, if you share the link, save this project. Save this file. Yeah. I think you have to click the share button, the orange share button. Yeah, click that and share that on Reddit. And also, let's put a comment on Reddit, right? So paste it there and say, yeah, put some, yeah, class code for Feb 28, and before, and also say what it is. So this code reads a bunch of frames from a named file. Named file, for a file, and within parentheses you can say hard-coded to totoro.txt for now. Hard-coded to totoro.txt for now. Yeah, right. And displays the animation and displays an animation on screen. It has bugs. Fix it. And on the next line, it has bugs. Fix it before Thursday's class, and fix it and share it. Fix it and share it and share it here, Okay. Yeah, and if nobody does it, we'll fix it on and put your sign or something at the end. Yeah, building. I think it's projects and stuff at the very end, and then you can sign off with your name at the end. Say Sabrina. Yeah, so you can I think you can post this, and someone should click on the link and make sure that you can see both the files, right? Both of them. You should be able to see both of the files. Can you see the other file? Yeah, there you go. They're both there. So in fact, technically you should be able to run the file, run it here too. You should be able to compile it and run it here. But there's these errors. We'll try and fix it. I'll try and fix it later today. I have some time, right? And I'll run it, but I won't tell you what the fixes are. I'll leave that for you to discover, okay? And once you have it going, next class, what we'll do is we'll just create some movies, right? We'll just create, in fact, what you can do is create text files, that totoro.txt. I'm going to create a file, okay? I'm going to create Anand's breakdance, right? I'm going to create a file called Anand's breakdance, okay? And it'll have like 10 frames in it or 5 frames in it, where, the character is doing breakdance steps, okay? So that when we play it, we have that person dancing. You can have many things, okay? And in fact, you can create a movie in which Jack meets Jill, okay? 2 stick figures on each side. They're coming towards each other, okay? And when they're close enough, maybe they shake hands. And then there's an ASCII character for heart. Okay, there's an ASCII character for heart. I think you can find it. This is heart is actually an ASCII character. So when they come close together and shake hands, you can have the animation like Erica's rain. Okay, so heart characters coming, bubbling up in front of them. Okay, so the 2 people coming together to meet, and the left, yeah, all right. So you can knock yourselves out. Say Jack meets Jill is a movie, right? So you can make that. And I'll make the breakdance movie, and other people can do that too. And we'll play with movies next class, okay? And I don't think we'll introduce new concepts next class. I think we have the luxury of doing that because we introduced a bunch of new concepts today. So what we'll do is we'll play with the movies and also look at all the puzzling concepts from this class, because we had static, we had a number of concepts we introduced today, right? Which may not be 100% clear. We'll go over them repeatedly, over like a for loop. We'll do that repeatedly next class. so that we're solid on the concepts and also have our movies working. Okay, so that's what we'll do next class. I know we didn't get to work, run it today, even though Sabrina was like one step ahead of me all the time, right? She was really fast and doing all these things. Even then, we didn't manage to get it done. Partly because I messed up, and I was refactoring and I messed up. So I need to get to the bottom of this code. And so thank you all. But was this class still useful? Because we covered a bunch of concepts, which we didn't get a chance to see in action, but next class we'll get to see them all in action. Okay, so we've got the link now. So thank you all so much. And I hope this was a useful class, which I think it, some of you said yes. And I'll see you on Thursday. Please make movies, okay? Please make movies before Thursday. Make a couple of cool movies and share them on Reddit. Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
Can I have a question for after?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
It was more of like general, like, okay. I had one question about like project, like how to because you mentioned earlier in Sabrina's that she probably didn't structure it correctly. So how would you structure projects correctly? Because hers wasn't compiling because she had multiple mains, I think, in like the same project, right? And so would you just have a folder and build a new folder of project per assignment? Is that?
Yes. One folder per project is the best way to go.
Okay.
For C++.
Awesome.
Actually, even Java, many other. In fact, in many languages, as you build bigger and bigger projects, you'll have many folders per project, but there will be one overall, hierarchical top-level folder that contains everything.
Okay, so then like just to be, I guess, organized, just like folder for like a general folder and like the project folders, and just kind of try to stay organized like that. Okay.
And what Sabrina had was, she had many different files of the same name,
Right.
different versions of the same name. You can get around that problem later on. Don't try now, right? You can use a version control system, like Git is built into the Xcode, right? Git, or just use that. Then you won't have that clutter issue also. That'll be taken care of. Ideally, you only want to have one or two files, a CPP file and a header file for initial projects, right? Later on, you may have many files, but not so many, right? Inside of a folder, you'll have only a certain number of files.
Okay, awesome.
Does it make sense?
Yes. I also had one last question. So when I tried to run just my initial like raining Totoro like in C line, I got an error and I didn't know what to do with that because it was like, oh, when I looked up
can you show the error?
Yeah. It was this non-aggregate type. Oh shoot. I can make it big. And when I looked it up, it was like,
oh, wow. It doesn't let you do that.
Yeah, I didn't like this.
That is so funny. Okay, so all right. So what that is saying is that vectors cannot be initialized in the way that you're doing it here. I am sure that is not in, it's not part of the C++, not modern C++ lets you do that, okay? Modern C++ versions let you initialize vectors like that. But here, this version of C line that you're using or C++ you're using does not let you initialize vectors like that. Why?
So weird.
That is so weird. Hang on. Is that the entire error? Can you scroll to the right?
Yeah.
Oh, cannot be initialized. Okay. All right. Well, apparently it's not letting you do that. One way you can do this. Okay. One way to get around this issue in ancient compilers. Well, apparently this one is not allowing you to do that. One way to do that is just to declare an empty without initialization, right? Just empty or empty. And then each of the lines, you're going to push back one at a time. So you're going to have a method and say, push back first line, push back second line. It won't look unsightly because when you do the pushback, all of those, the pushback lines will line up your frame correctly. So you'll be able to look at what you're pushing back, but you'll have to do it in code. You can't do it in the initialization there. That's all.
Oh, okay. So
does that make sense?
Yes. So in theory, like the code that we worked on today should work because we're grabbing from a text file and pushing back into the vector.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the code from today should work. Yeah, exactly. We won't have that problem with the code from today.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I was like, I couldn't get around this, and I was like, I guess I'll just work in online GDB and figure this
Yeah,
out
yeah,
later.
yeah. Yeah, that is really strange. I remember encountering that era, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago on,
Really?
on ancient. Yeah.
Maybe.
Even this is the same Mac. I've had this Mac for now. This Mac, which was issued by Foothill to me, I've had
Uh-huh.
since what? Since I joined 10 years ago. So same Mac, I had that era. But since then, I've upgraded C++ and Xcode and everything so many times.
Yeah,
It
maybe
disappeared. Yeah.
I need to upgrade something, I guess, right? Because there's something weird about this, right? Or like old.
Is this Windows? Is this Windows?
No, I'm on a Mac. So I didn't say anything earlier just because I had these errors popping up and I'm like, I don't want to throw another wrench into the class.
I'm pretty sure that if this is a Mac,
Yeah.
which folder is this? Which folder is this?
So I also had like a folder. So with CLion, it does allow me to use like one file as like its own project. So I
That's
just
okay.
have this one
Just right click
folder.
on the file, right click on the file, right click on the file.
File is Raining Totoro. It's here.
Right click on it and show details or information, get information or details. Oh, copy path reference, copy path.
There it
I think is
is.
the third one. Yeah.
Mhm.
Now open a terminal, open a Mac terminal.
Okay, do you want me to the absolute path? Okay. Yeah. I open my little term. I'm gonna
Oh, it's
share
not
my
here. You have to,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
have
share my
to
screen.
get the actual.
the whole thing. Okay. Yes. Share.
Yeah. Can you command plus a couple of times so the font size is bigger?
Oh, yeah. Oh, oops.
And increase the size of the window too, so it's bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, now type CD space,
Oops.
and then paste what you have in the clipboard. No, you,
Oh,
you shouldn't have
sorry.
the file name at the end. Get rid of the file name.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right, now do an ls. There you go. Your
Mhm.
raining totoro.cpp.
Yeah.
Now let's compile it by hand, but let's say G++ space -o, call it, play, and then raining totoro or capital R tab. Yeah, there you go.
I still remember some of my command line.
Oh, wow, it still says that. G++.
It's
No, can you type G++ space dash version? G++ space dash
yeah,
version.
that's what it is. Oops.
Oh, double dash
I forgot
version,
about
double
that,
dash.
yeah. It's just old. Is that what happened?
What version is this? Where does it say what's version? Apple CLang 12.0.5. Actually, I don't know, Erica, because I don't know what the version is and the current versions are.
But
Why?
Is it Clang or is it this?
No,
one?
Apple has a C language compiler, and they're probably using G++, the command name G++ to point to their own compiler, which is supposed to be, compliant with the standard. So I don't know why it's not allowing you to declare.
Yeah, like,
But I've been able to do that on my Mac, or maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just confused. Yeah. You can Google CLang 2023 declare vector with initialization. Declare vector with initialization list.
Oops, did I? Okay.
Yeah, you can hit enter. It'll fix it. Google will fix it.
Okay. Declare vector with initialization.
You got to say Mac CLang.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. First one. The
So
first
that's
link. Yeah, first
2014.
I'm pretty sure that guy is having this exact same problem. That problem is exactly the same as yours.
Yeah, and since this is not.
Oh, no answers? Nobody answered?
Because they said
C++
Like
11. Wait, yeah, get back to your G++ terminal. Go to your terminal. Go to your terminal again. The terminal. Right, up arrow. Now, no, one more time. Get to the compilation place. There you go. Now, say dash
with the flag.
std dash std. std
Mhm.
std equals. No, dash
Do I
std
need to-
equals.
one dash?
No, I think it's just one, but we'll, yeah, one
Just the flag.
equals.
Okay.
I think it is C plus plus 0x. I think it's C plus plus 0x. 0x. No, upper 0x. I think that's what it is. Yeah, hit enter. Wow. Okay, so
Oh.
that, see that that standard equals that says use a different C++ standard. I think it is 2005 or some standard from later. Yeah. So that says, oh, according to a later standard of C++, you're able to initialize like that. But the default standard, it doesn't let you do that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if the Stack Overflow answer tells you, it gives that solution, but you know what, you can do that. If there's no answer on that question, you can say, well, you know what, you fix that. You can say, Erica, you can sign off, and I bet you get 10 or 15 votes on that. You'll get a lot of upvotes for that, because if there's no answers, other people are having the same problem. They'll say, hey, I tried Erica's solution and it worked. Yeah.
Because
So you can actually
I was looking this stuff up earlier, and like when I would get the thing, first of all, the answers would, like, there were some answers, but like a long time, like they were old, and it's like, oh, add the C-11 flag to it, and I was like, where?
Yeah. So
but-
this will take that's basically what it is. It adds a flag.
Okay, so does that mean my standard C-lang compiler is?
Is using an older
Oh.
version of C++.
Oh.
What you can do is in C Lion, there must be some settings page.
Yeah,
right?
there is,
Preferences
yeah.
settings.
Uh-huh.
In there, you'll find somewhere in there compiler settings, and there's a compiler flags.
Uh-huh.
And if you go and add this flag in there, then you don't have to worry about that anymore. C Lion will automatically take care of it.
Oh,
I don't know
okay,
where it is, but
perfect.
it's
Yeah,
there somewhere.
I'll find it. Thank you. That was just a good way to point me to where to fix this.
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, I was stuck for this using the online
I know.
TDP because it's just typing weird.
Yeah, I know, because I have been stuck at something very similar, many things very similar to this thing for ages in the past, right? So I know exactly what, not exactly, but very similar to the frustration that you felt. Thank you.
Okay.
Was that all? Any other questions you have?
No, that was it for now. I'll try to fix the bugs.
All right,
for class.
okay.
Thank
I'm
you.
going. I'm hoping to see. The box office smashes from Namrata and Simon and you, right? So you guys have to go and make some movies. All right. See you later.
All right, thank you. Bye.
I have
Bye.
a question, building
Yeah,
off
sure.
of Erica's question, her first question. So he talks about how like usually we'll have like the CPP in the header file. And I noticed like when we're doing this class code, we don't have like a separate header file. So I was just wondering like when you would use that when creating your classes and when you won't.
Yes. We will start using header files next class. Okay. A week after that. So the time when you start using header files is when your classes, the classes you create, are starting to get less trivial, right? It's getting bigger. So then you say, well, I want to have this class definition here, but all the declaration here, which tells you what the class is, but all the definitions saying, oh, this is the body of the function. This is the body of the function. I don't want to put all of it there. Then it'll conflict, So then people will start separating. So you'll naturally, right? You don't have to learn this saying, oh, this is how you do it and all. You just do it. And at some point you'll feel, oh, it's getting too cluttered, and you'll start organizing things like IKEA yourself. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, cool. Bye.